So, usually when you hire somebody, you ask them a lot of questions, you look into their background, you evaluate them, and so on. But you never really think about that sometimes when it comes to yourself because you don't hire yourself. But really, you're a big part of your company. And I think you should look at yourself just like you would somebody you're going to hire. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why that's important and how to do that. This is Maurice Kempner. I'm an attorney, real estate broker, and business coach and consultant. Welcome to True Legacy Wealth Media. I think it's a good idea to evaluate yourself like you would somebody that would be doing your position in the business if you were the owner and you hired yourself. What would you look for? And I think it's something good that you want to do with your life in general. Just because it gives you an opportunity to evaluate yourself and maybe build on some of the things that would be good for you to do. All right. So let's ask some questions that I think are important. Ask yourself about your values. Are you aware of the values that you have? And how aware are you of those values? And what do you think those values are going to lead to in your life and in your business? Look at your beliefs. What kind of things do you believe in? And there's what's known as confirmation bias. I see it as one of the biggest challenges that people have is they have a tendency to have a certain belief that they want. Not necessarily what might be more accurate or useful, but just what they want, right? They want to believe in what they want to believe in. And then if they see any evidence that contradicts that, they discard it. If they see any evidence that supports it, they believe it. I think it's far better to be a more critical thinker and ask yourself what might be some flaws in your beliefs. And if you're going to look at those, what would you do to put them under scrutiny to make sure that they're useful to you as a person and help build your character and help the world be a better place? Try to look at the assumptions you make. What kind of assumptions do you make as a person all the time? What kind of things do you assume? And are those assumptions accurate? I mean, assigning meaning is one of the most important things you're going to do in your life. Assigning meaning to what people say, what people do. Try to look at that, what you're doing there, and see how accurate you think that might be working for you. How accurate you think these assumptions are. Be helpful too to get some opinions from other people. Like you could ask people to write down secretly and 5 words that describe you. Or you could just ask them, what are 5 words that you would think of to describe me? Or what would you say at my funeral? Things like that. I think it's a good idea to see how other people are seeing you and see if that's in kind of an alignment with your own self values. And I mean, a lot of times people think things about you that aren't accurate. You don't have to necessarily accept what they say, but if you see a lot of consistency in what people think about you, it can help you be a little more self-aware of yourself, I think, and maybe help you evaluate yourself. And that's what we're talking about here. Well, that is what we're talking about here in this video. Another good question to ask yourself when you're trying to gain this self-knowledge as a person or whatever is how have you affected the lives of others? How do you affect the lives of others? Ask yourself this question. Day to day, with the stuff you're doing, the way you're living now, what impact is this having on other people? Is that how you want it to be? Is that the kind of impact you want to have on people? Would you rather have a different impact? Would you rather have it be improved? Something to think about. I think you might want to ask yourself what you're doing to minimize the negative effect that you might be having on other people because it's really hard to avoid it. We just have a tendency to have a negative impact on people sometimes, even though we don't want to. It just happens. So I think it's a good idea to evaluate that. Now, some people, I mean, if you're the kind of person that's thinking that you want to have a negative impact on certain people, that might be something about yourself you might want to evaluate. I'm not going to tell you what to do or what's right or wrong, but when it comes to that kind of thing, the Buddha said something that I like. It's a good quote. And he said, what he said was, whenever you're angry, it's like having a hot coal in your hand that you want to throw at somebody else. You're the only one getting burned. And I've noticed a lot of people when they get angry or they want to do a lot of damage to other people, they end up usually just doing a lot of damage to themselves more than they do other people, although they do damage other people, that's for sure. But why waste your time on that stuff? It's not really happy to be angry and want to hurt other people. So I think it's a good thing to look at that and evaluate that about yourself. What are you doing to minimize that kind of thing when it comes to other people? Another thing I would look at is how you avoid things, right? Like, I think it's better to just face your demons head on and not avoid them. But a lot of times we tend to avoid things. And then when you avoid certain things that you just don't want to do or get around or whatever, then it gives your brain, I think, a subconscious idea that somehow you've escaped, right? You've escaped. And so then it reinforces that kind of behavior. And I don't think that's a positive or a healthy thing to reinforce that kind of behavior. If you go through with it and you face it, then it gives you the reinforcement in your subconscious mind that, really there's no reason to escape or avoid these things, which is the way you want to feel consciously and subconsciously, in my opinion. How do you think about being in places or in circumstances that are unusual or different or not something you're used to? How do you deal with those kind of things now? I did a little short on this. I mean, I think it's a good thing because usually when you're in that type of situation, it just means you're going to learn something. It just means that you're going to grow. You're going to grow. You're going to learn. I'm not saying every situation you're uncomfortable in means that. That's certainly not true. But when you meet certain challenges in your life and business and you're in unfamiliar territory, you're just going to learn new skills. That generally tends to be the truth of how that works out. Brutal asking yourself these kind of questions and evaluating yourself and looking at yourself like, would you hire yourself or whatever? Just be grateful is, in conclusion, here what I would say. Just be grateful for all the things that you are, the skills you have. I mean, nobody's perfect. We all come from the human race, right? And no matter who you hire, it's a big problem because it's a big challenge because you have to recruit all of these people from the human race, right? There's really no way around that. And that includes you. So be kind to yourself, be compassionate to yourself. Try to help yourself like you would anybody that you want to help. Think of yourself that way too. Don't just be self-critical. This isn't an exercise in self-criticism to put yourself down or anything like that. So, as hard as it may be to face some of these things, be grateful that you were able to figure things out that you might not like about yourself. Just be grateful for it. Be thankful for it. Don't feel bad about it because now you're more aware of it and there's something you can do about it to make your life better and make you a better person so you can help other people around you. Now, this will greatly help you with your family and your business in the creation of multi-generational wealth. And I think these skills are important that you can develop these. And I think it's a good idea to develop these things in your children as well and your family members. So anyway, I hope that helps. And if it does, I hope you'll like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.